Are you referring to the great loss of life and destruction of property?
Definitely. I guess we would be referring to that too. I think what that mainly refers to, as far as I'm concerned, is the radical element of Islam. We are, of course, not lumping all Muslims together into one basket. I mean, no matter what the news media says about us, that's not true. We're not against Muslims. We do not hate Muslims. They're welcome in America. They have freedoms, what we do not have in their country. We are against the radical element. And if you're aware of Islam to any degree whatsoever, you're definitely against Sharia. So we're referring there to the radical element of Islam.
What is your position on, say, something like Noah's Ark, about virtually every single living person on Earth being killed?
Well, I mean, as you probably are aware, I'm a pastor.
So I would expect you to have a position on it.
I've been a pastor for 30, 35 years. So that means I believe the Bible. So I believe Noah's Ark. I believe the story. I believe it happened.
Okay, but can you put your spin on it about how a loving God would cause a calamity that would kill virtually everybody on Earth?
I cannot put no spin on it. The only thing that I can spin on it is that God's God. He knows what he's doing. For some reason, somehow, things must have been so bad that God felt that was the only way to do it or redeem it. I don't know. I'm not God. That's the only spin I can put on it. I have no idea.
Can't you draw a comparison to 9/11?
I'm not even a theologian.
Because on 9/11, those acts were allegedly done to atone for sin here in America. So isn't it kind of like the flip side of the same coin?
No, it's ridiculous.
No.
Well, can you explain why?
Men carried those out. God carried his out. We're not God.
God, for one thing, that's true. If the Noah's Ark really happened, then God did it. And God can make those kind of decisions. We cannot. Just like the decision of abortion. Abortion is murder. Abortion is not good. So we are not allowed to make those kind of decisions. Yeah, you can't go around killing people just because you feel a country is doing something wrong. That's just simply not allowed. So we're trying to get this for you. Is that still not?
Yes.
Okay.
What is it?
There you go. There it is.
The Quran is charged with the training and promoting terrorist activities around the world. Okay. Murder, rape, and torture of people worldwide, and death. Whose only crime was not being of the Islamic faith. Okay, number 3. Quran is charged with crimes against women, against minorities, against Christians, and with the promoting of prejudice and racism against anyone who is not a Muslim. Okay, that was the 3 of them.
Now, you just said that you're not against all Muslims, only I guess the extremists. But why is the verdict then coming down on the whole Quran and not just the extremists?
I mean, you had to have some kind of an object. We couldn't very well burn an extremist. We couldn't very well burn a person. It is our opinion, and actually opinion of people who are much, much smarter than I am, even this young man, and people who actually really know the Quran. They know the Arabic, they know the Quran. It is actually their opinion that the Quran does the strict following of the Quran does lead to terrorist activities. That is actually a fairly popular, well-known doctrine or belief. Plus, I don't like to argue doctrine because, which I'm not going to do because I need to save my voice for tomorrow. But see, we can always argue doctrine. We can say, well, the Bible says this, and the Quran says this, and the Bible says this, and a Hindu said this. The facts are this. Look at a Muslim, Quran-dominated country. do not see freedom of speech, freedom of religion, even in a country like Saudi Arabia that we consider to be somewhat civilized. We cannot go there and build a church. We cannot go there and evangelize. They will kill you. So to argue doctrine is absolutely idiotic and ridiculous. All we have to do is look at what's going on. In Pakistan, Indonesia, you can't even criticize the Quran. You will be killed. So there's no doubt that there is something desperately wrong. That doesn't mean there's something wrong with all Muslims, but there's something wrong with some of them.
I'm all in favor of freedom of speech too.
You have something?
Sorry,
Otherwise, I gotta have to save my voice because people like to argue forever, and I don't. Yeah.
But you right now are attacking countries with this belief, right? But you're here in America. You're here in America.
I'm attacking that belief. Yeah.
You're here in America, talking about people in America who are here for other reasons, possibly to escape a culture like that.
That's fine.
Fine. But why are you blaming these people here in America for following a belief like this? That even if there's a country dominated by a belief that you may not agree with, why are you attacking the people here for believing that?
See, for one thing, we're actually not attacking the people.
Okay. Why are you going to be in front of a mosque tomorrow?
Okay. What I have said many times, Muslims, anyone else who is in this country legally, is more than welcome, protected under the First Amendment. That is not our problem. Our problem is with the radical element of Islam, one, and that should be everybody's problem. Number two, our problem is with Sharia, which is a brutal form of government that includes stoning, beheading. These are actual facts. These are not my opinion. These are facts. That is what we are against. If they are here, Muslims are here to peacefully obey the Constitution, we have no problem.
Might I ask then, what is the point of going in front of a mosque tomorrow and giving a speech like this? What are you trying to accomplish by, what exactly is it that you're doing again in front of the mosque?
What we are actually trying to accomplish is we're trying to send a very clear signal either to the radical element of Islam or the Muslim who's here in America. We're trying to say, like I said, if
you're here, who's here in America.
Right, if you're here, fine, wonderful. But if you're here with a hidden agenda, of which many of them are.
I don't think that's true, that many of them are.
I spent 30 years in Europe. Look at Europe. It don't matter what you think, don't matter what I think. Look at history. Look at what is going on. Look at what happened in Egypt 1,400 years ago. Egypt was not Muslim until they took over, until they conquered, until they killed people. In other words, just examine. You don't have to believe me. It's absolutely no problem. You examine it yourself. Examine. Look at Google it. Look at it, you'll see that it's right.
I have one last question for you. Have you read the Quran?
I have read parts of the Quran.
Have you read the entire Quran?
No, but that's not my problem.
You have not
read it.
I am not a Quran
What's your point? I read it.
I am not even a Bible expert.
Yeah.
He's the one talking.
I'm asking you, what's your point?
I'll give it to him then and just say, my point is what I see. See, it's not what, what we have to understand. It is not what Muslims say. They lie. They have a doctrine. It's not funny.
I'm sorry.
They have a doctrine of taqiyya. Check it out yourself. I've been lied to many times. They tell you.
I've been not lied to many times. People that are not just.
Yeah, but they have a particular doctrine. So it's not what they say. It is actually what they do. That's what we have to judge, not what they say.
I'm not going to be judging anyone.
He's a Quran expert.
Their book tells them to lie. Quran verse 328 tells them to lie.
I've read the Quran also.
That's good.
And there are parts of it that may say certain things, and then there are other parts that nullify those things.
The lying part's not nullified. It's part of Islamic law.
What?
The lying part is not nullified. It's part of Islamic law.
All of the Quran is
Right, so it instructs them to lie. You asked about human rights. Quran verses 424, 425,
so you are picking two
and
parts
3350.
of the Quran. Sorry, three.
All okay, the taking of sex slaves. That is rape and slavery and kidnapping.
Slavery is also permissible in the Bible.
But
yes, have you read
Christians
the Bible?
on a worldwide jihad trying to bring back barbaric religious law. So what's your point? Why do you keep bringing up?
Here's my point. First of all, he couldn't quote a single verse for the Quran. Let the news media capture that. And secondly, I can pick and choose verses from the Bible that show a very very wrathful, vindictive God that goes around killing non-believers.
Okay, there's a difference between saying God's going to strike you down and men and women looking to bring back barbaric religious laws.
People follow what God says. People then act this out. It's not one culture. It's not.
All right, I think we could agree on this. Jesus was a man of peace. Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
Continue.
Muhammad took sex slaves. Muhammad called for the dominance of Christians. The Quran, verse 33:21, states that his actions are to be followed for all times. What did you say?
Was that the same? Was that the same quote that you followed before?
No, it was 328. This one's 33:21.
Okay.
What's that on?
Okay.
You know, furthermore, lots of godly people in the Bible had lots of wives and concubines.
Yeah, I know. So I don't approve of polygamy from anybody. So what's your point?
My point is that
you're choosing one religion.
Because one religion.
Okay, unlike him, I have read the Quran, and it reads pretty much like the Psalms. It seems, you know, like a pretty benign book, and it's the religious extremists that pick and choose certain parts and get excited by certain clerics or whatever they're called.
Right.
And the same thing could be done with the Bible. It's not the Quran's fault, it's the extremists' fault.
Thank you, sir.
But they're doing it across the West.
Has a section of it
We're here in America.
that is known as a radical. You don't have radical
The West is America.
Radical Buddhism, radical Mormonism. You don't see that. Radical Islam is the only religion that is known for a radical element.
What about the radical Christians that blow up abortion clinics?
Okay, where
I don't see anybody supporting that though.
Where do you? I mean, if you heard something about the radical Christians might do something in New York, you wouldn't see the cops out here doing this because it isn't known for that. Islam is known for violence and oppression. It's known for that, or else it wouldn't have got this kind of response out of New York City.
It's only
There's
because
not
of
a
you
whole lot
guys.
more. No, trust me, we've been several places. We don't get this kind of response.
Okay.
You're ready.